basic rear naked choke. I just find a lot of people will do what looks right, but there's some small details that are off. So basic control, we know we never will cross our ankles. He can actually attack foot lock here if we do. So we're just controlling each ankle individually. And I think more important than the lower body control is the upper body control. We want one arm over his shoulder. This arm has access to his neck, but if we have two arms over, we don't have anything to stop him from just sliding down. So we need one arm under. Now if he tries to slide down, he's kind of stuck by this arm, this underhook. Now, we have this forearm flush to his chest. We're gonna grab our own wrist and we bring our head forward. There's a super, super easy escape. If he just turns his head this way and touches the back of his head to the ground this way, even if I had a fully locked on rear naked choke, touch your head to the ground. You see how he's moving away from the choking arm? That's a very easy escape, and so we have to know that and shut down in advance. We use what John Danaher refers to as a head trap. So right now, I've stopped him from moving this way with this arm, but my head has to control that space here. Now this is good position, but there's what the invisible piece that's missing is pressure. I want to use not my biceps, bringing my hands to my chest, but my lats, bringing my elbows backwards here. This is our position here. Now, for the basic rear naked choke, we'll talk later about what to do about his hands, but this is how I teach, and you can practice these steps as you're listening right now. We're gonna straighten this arm, then we're gonna protrude the arm forward from the shoulder here. This is kind of the key. From here, we then push the straight arm across. This is what most people do, and this is, you see how my elbow's off to the side? So if Daniel flexes his neck, I'm going into the front of the throat, it's just strength. Versus, if I get that elbow, we'll talk about one more detail in a sec, but if I get that elbow in line with his chin, now flex your neck. Very easy to finish. I'm cutting off the blood. I'm not attacking the air in the front. Now, especially with someone bigger, we got this head trap. Notice how it's hard for me to get my arm across. I want to lean him back so that I can see above his head. Now, let's all practice this together. Straighten that arm, protrude it forward, then press the straight arm here. This is what pushes the elbow. Now we come here, pull this hand out, and we want to avoid the kind of old school way. We'll talk about ways he can defend. We don't want to do this because now he can not only grab my arm this way, he can armbar me right now just by pulling down. So instead, we slide this hand behind his head, this hand on our bicep, and now the finish is not pulling back, it's squeezing the elbows together, almost like an old school pec deck here. So, now, of course, you're gonna ask, okay, if I do this, isn't he gonna grab that arm? Of course. But this is how we train it so that our elbow knows where to go. So when I'm having people first learn this, we do this step-by-step process. Straight, protrude, press. Then we bend, and now we're training that shoulder to get that elbow in the right spot. We're here. Now there are two ways to finish. We can just squeeze the elbows together here, or we can pull that elbow back in a circle. It's a little more, affects the front of the throat a little more, but it's quite uncomfortable. Now, just one last thing. This hand, it's palm facing me. A lot of people will do this and push the head in. When I push the head in, I'm actually creating resistance. The reason this hand is not forward is if Daniel grabs my fingers here, even if I use my chin to stop him, pull that over your head. I can't stop him, but there's this divot in the wrist. So now if he grabs those fingers, pull, he can't get it over. Here, palm facing me, this arm is not pushing in, elbow squeeze, or pull that elbow back. Let's do it on 3. 1, 2, 3.